December, I've been making very bearish videos, and I know for folks who have not been through a bear market, it's very, very hard to believe. But in retrospect now do most of you, especially new folks, it's hard to imagine that it can go down this far. And I've been saying for a long time, altcoins will lose 90 to 99% of their value from their wick high. Are you starting to see that it's right? And the cross bad and all these entertaining videos that I've been making since December, since last year, 6 months ago, I've been bearish. Everything's been bearish. And anything bullish that I put on my YouTube thumbnails, it's clickbait to try to get you to realize that you should be bearish. And I even I even spent so much time making entertaining videos like the one, that you'll see if you go to my channel. Like, do you see why I did this? Look, boom, boom, bada, bing, straight down. The only time that you have for that is to be ready for it now. Do you see why I said that? Is it starting to, I hope this makes sense. And not only did I make those videos, but it was in light of all these comments haha, it's up 40%, haha, Luna's up. And I was like, guys, this is bearish, this is bearish, this is bearish. And I still kept making the bearish videos. I was in a weird position, right? I was losing, fans who didn't want to be bearish, but I did it anyway. Because I don't, even though to a certain point, being a YouTuber, for example, the algorithm is only, typically, the base level of the algorithm is trying to give viewers what they want. That is really what the algo is all about. It literally is that. And that means retention's good, click rate's good, all that kind of stuff. From a YouTuber perspective, I need to give people what they want. But essentially, the way I did that was, if I made anything slightly bullish, it was mostly in the thumbnail, and I let you know, hey, this is actually bearish, right? And so I've been sacrificing, essentially myself, in order to do this, to give you what you need, not what you want. It's literally to a point of self-sacrifice. And I've been doing it, because I have all my directions, and have I lost people from, for example, my Discord community because I didn't get the drop from 58K down to 29K? I missed that drop. I did. I haven't gotten everything right, but I promise you, to the bottom of my heart, I am trying to do this to help people. And is my intent of helping always perfect? No. I thought Dogecoin was a great call. It was a great monetary coin, and it got delisted. I didn't see it coming. Just like people didn't see Luna getting attacked by financial institutions and hedge fund type of businesses like Citadel. You couldn't expect that to happen, right? People who told you about Luna didn't have bad intentions. It just happens, right? But regardless, for the overall bear market, though, I knew this was coming with a high level of certainty. And I essentially did a self-sacrifice. So you already know my levels. We already know what's going on. So in this video, what we're going to do here is we're going to do very short-term time frame stuff. We can already expect to move down. And if you did not see my yesterday's video, which I'll link you to at the end, you can watch this first. However, it'll end up making more sense if you also watch my yesterday's video, which goes into a deeper analysis, both long-term-ish and short-term. But this is going to be essentially a Lego piece on top of the short-term piece that I did yesterday. So let's go get this. Let's go get these charts. Quick summary from yesterday. The gist of yesterday's was the two most likely situations are as follows. A, the most likely, and something I did not say specifically enough, on a weekly candle basis, I should have said that, the most probable scenario is that Bitcoin price does bust through this bottom part of the range and goes lower. On a weekly basis. So that means within any 10-day period, if you're on an hourly chart or the 5-minute chart, you're gonna see a lot of the battle around this line. Okay, you could see it because this is the battle line, and if you disagree with that, you're wrong. You can disagree all you want. 31.2 is the current battle line of bulls and bears on a short-term time frame, right? However, I think the first most probable scenario, even though you can get this on short-term time frames, but what that looks like on a weekly candle is that next week, so for example, this week goes through it and it closes likely below it or just over it. So it's going to close from here to here, somewhere like that. Next week, regardless of where it closes, next week could easily pop up and wick here and then turn red and close down here, right? So that means you get a lot of this if you zoom into the 5-minute chart down there, you could see it like a bump up, all this stuff, and then it tanks, right? But on a weekly basis, that's roughly what it means. It could wick up the next week and then continue down. I think this situation is the most probable scenario. The second most likely scenario is that there is a delay to further downside moves, because this is and I explained it a lot more in yesterday's video, why this is such a strong support area. But this, in general, the gist of it is the second most likely scenario is that even on a weekly basis, we do see some type of turnaround here where it wants to test up between this line and this line, these two levels being roughly 38 and change and 33.5. 33.5 to 38, or even up to 40, like a little lower high in this area here. And I explained all the reasons why that could happen, and that would be my second most likely situation, is some type of delay. Therefore, Bitcoin doesn't really head down into the 28s and into the lower 20Ks until perhaps late May through June to July. It could slow it down even a month and a half to two, and I go over that into detail. So that was the gist of yesterday's video. For this video, what I want to do here is I want to zoom into this area, knowing now from today, so from that gist and then yesterday's video, knowing why we are thinking what the two most probable scenarios are. Now let's, in this video, I want to dive in so you can have exact levels, so you know when to flick the switch on or flick the switch off, which one's more probable, which one's less probable. So you can flick that switch of, okay, now this is most probable, now this is most probable, and when the probabilities flip, so you can know, okay, should I juke this way and fake this way, or what should I be doing with my portfolio? This is not to get you hyper and staring at the charts at all moments, but rather so that you can know in any moment when do probabilities flip on a short-term basis in specific regard to the two most probable scenarios. All right, so are you with me? Let's dive into these charts. But just a heads up though, before we dive into these charts, we got a lot of stuff going on in the Discord. I got live trading. I got 3 different leaders, and then by next week I'm going to have crypto fundamental 3 different leaders. Ranging from how to use Tradingview, crypto charting fundamentals, and also somebody just basic crypto fundamentals, like how to get your coins off of an exchange onto a cold wallet, things to that effect. So it's not just me rocking and rolling on my Discord. I got 6 different leaders now, and you can check out the description to my Discord within the link to the Discord in the description of all my videos. And if you're not following me on Twitter, what the heck are you doing? It's at Cosasverdes with the number 2 afterward. And if online communities are not your thing, and you can hit the join button right below this video, and another video will pop up showing your options to you, so you can get more exclusive content above and beyond what I offer on YouTube. All right, I'm on the top right now. We're going to zoom in here. And I want you to have 3 lines on your chart. And remember from 2 videos ago, I beg and plead, like if I have you draw something on your chart, it might be a good idea, because I've been like, I don't know, Bitcoin has literally been going exactly where I've been thinking it's going the last 14 days or so. It's a pretty neat roll. But 3 lines. Again, as I described in my yesterday's video, this was a pattern trader move here. This was all stimulated by, you all know who, like, there are 3 big pattern traders out there who have trading communities. They all take the same trade on Bitcoin. That's what that is. That's them. Is it a coincidence that the neckline of their shape is exactly at a line that I've had on my chart for over 14 months? No, it is not. So I already knew what they were thinking, right? Because it aligns exactly with this, and I could tell their shape. I knew that was going to go up. Right, especially after the breakout. So, for example, this, especially after that retest of roughly the neckline, boom, that's when it really took off. And because of that shape, I knew that there were, it was a successful trade as long as people closed their trades out correctly before they were at a loss. And so since it got a lot of play, I did not expect those buyers to the upside to disappear very quickly. That's why I made yesterday's video explaining right here on this candle, as long as price has been above here, and with a deeper description yesterday, you have an 8-hour shelf life before things will really tank, right? That was the gist. The 3 lines I need, so based off that, assuming you watched yesterday's video, and if you haven't, I'll link you to it at the end. It's okay to watch it second. 3 lines you need on your chart. Even more important than the bottom of my quarter line, so this orange section is the quarter zone of the macro range, and this line right here is the bottom of the macro range that goes back to January 2021, right? Even more important is the weekly open. You need a line at your, so that's when the weekly open, the reason why that's important is that's when the weekly candle flips green. So if the 5-minute candle gets above that line and use it as support and then makes a higher local high, the week is probably going to stay green after it flips green, given that it will have flipped green halfway through the week. But if you see 5-minute candles go above that line and come back through and not use it as support and then come down and use it as resistance, you know that that was a fake out. The week flickered green and now it's going to keep going back down. It's a mini bull trap. You need this line on your chart. And the easy way to do that is to just, let me make sure that, let me go to the top right, sorry. Somebody complained, it is a good complaint, a valid complaint, about not being able to see the stuff up here. But what was I getting ready to show you? Oh yeah, the weekly. So go to the week. So see this W, week? All right, now watch. When I hover over this, this candle, look at the numbers that are up here. See this number here? It says 34, like these numbers here. It says OHLC. That's open, close. So open and close are on the outsides, open and close, and the high and low of the candle, right? You're going to want to look at the, so for a red candle that goes down, that is the open. So all you do is hover over that, then look back up to where I was pointing, and now it says $34,000.51. So you can roughly put, you can do it exactly if you want, or you can just eyeball it, stretch out your chart and put a line right over it and, just make sure it's horizontal. Just kind of, this is how I do it. I typically don't make sure it's actually, so technically I'm $2.19 off. So if you look over on the right-hand side, over here, I can tell where my line is because it tells me the price, right? So this is kind of charting basics of Tradingview, and I'm going to have a team leader lead these types of classes so you can learn how to use Tradingview. So I got it closer there. I'm only 81 cents off. So that's good. All right, so I make that line there. And the lines that I mark personally for my open lines, a lot of times I do this for the dailies as well. But right now, mostly it's just the week that's important. I typically make them white. So I make them the same color, same structure every time so I know what I'm looking at on my chart so I don't get it confused with this 3/8 line on my macro range, for example. I make it white, size 1, and dashed. Oh, I'm covering it. Dang it. And dashed. Right? Size 1, white, size 1, and dashed this line. So I always know those are my weekly open lines. All right. Now, and if you don't know those types of tricks, again, I'm telling you, for example, that's one of the more fundamental channels that I'll have a leader do live stuff with and have a calendar and little live courses and everything. So that's one line you need on your chart. The second line you need on your chart, you don't need to make this whole range that I had, this whole macro thing. You just need a straight line at roughly 31,200. I need to get off the weekly chart. At 31,200, you need another line. Why is this acting so strange? Why can't I write? Oh, because I'm so zoomed in. That's why. 31.2, and this one, what was it? 34. Just call it 3450. That's close enough. 34,050. And then the third line you need is the neckline of that what do you call it? The pattern trader stuff, that breakout, it's going to be another important line. And that is at 30,000. Let's just call it 30,650. Yeah, 30,650 is close enough. So let me zoom out. You need 3 lines right here. 1 line, 2 lines, 3 lines. I promise you, this is going to be helpful. And I typically try to get people off the low time frames during altcoin season, but right now I'm telling you, in order to figure out when probabilities are flipping, in specific regard to which one becomes more probable, my current topmost probable, which is on a weekly basis, this this bottom of the range is going to be broken through, and we're going to go under 29K, a lot more, like into the deep 20s. That's the most probable on a weekly basis, right? So when does that flip? Zooming into the 5 minutes with these 3 lines is going to give you an idea of when the percentages, it's not necessarily when one becomes more than the other, but when one starts creeping up and becomes almost as equally probable as the other one, right? So that's what we're trying to do here. Those 2 main thoughts with these 3 lines, you'll be able to understand them changing and how probable one is over the other. All right. I'm telling you this works. Okay, it would be kind of nice if I can get rid of this line, huh? Maybe I'll just draw over this. So if you're going to draw lines, I'll draw lines because it's kind of confusing with these colors, I think. So I will make that a straight line, and I will remove my macro range. Bam. Okay, so these are our 3 lines. And I'm going to use the 5-minute chart. And so this is where I'm using appropriately small, very small time frames because I need to be nimble. I need to be able to understand when the probabilities are flipping. All right. At any moment that price is under this, automatically, I would give it a 70-30 ratio. That the one that is most probable right now, it just tanks through, is like I give it a 70-30 ratio. If price is, and I would say this line would mark the idea that if it can get support on this and then make a higher local high. So typically when you get above an area of resistance, like a weekly open, sometimes you fail it and then get rejected. But if you're going to get over it, there's like one main way you do it. You typically will go above it, land on it as support, and then right when you get over that first local high that was created when you had your major push over this line. So typically it doesn't just push up to the line and flatline, right? Like as opposed to this. That's not the way crypto moves with an obstacle. It doesn't do that. It can go like this and then do a bull flag like this, like straight down, like not straight down, but kind of like this and consolidate. It can do that and then go. That can happen too, but this is less likely. It's less common. Usually over a resistance area, it'll go boom, it'll push above, come retest it, bounce, and then right when price or any candle, it doesn't even have to close. It can just get over whatever first height that it made as it pushed over that line. Once it gets over there on price, on 5-minute candles, that's when the probabilities do flip. That means the second most probable becomes the most probable in that exact moment, and then you're at like a 49-50 ratio. Or no, 51, sorry. That doesn't equal 100, Tim. 49-51. That is when a delayed, lower 20s becomes more probable. And so anything in between, you can just kind of put numbers. So if price is at this line, but it's using it as support, you might have like a 60-40. But if price interacts with this line like this and gets rejected from it, then you can say 65, a 35, because you're getting rejected by this line, but you're still over this line. So it's not quite 70. Does that make sense? So you have, if you're rejected from this line, you're still way more probable. And these aren't exact numbers, but it's just to get the gist. If you are above this line, then you're still at 60-40. But if you get above this line without using this as support, it might be more like a 55-45, close to even, or it could be about even. It could be closer to like 51-49 at that point. But the moment that the probabilities flip, exactly the second most probable becomes the most probable. In my analysis, is that you have to get above 34,050. And then use it as support. So 3 things. So get above that, use it as support. Okay, see how I'm drawing up here? Use it as support. And then get above the local high that was created as price got above. That's when the second most probable becomes the most probable. Anything between here and those 3 things happening, you're just getting closer and closer to 50-50 even splits on when there is no edge on if Bitcoin's going to capitulate sooner than later. Now, so if Bitcoin does even better than that and could bounce up to 38K, which in my last video, I did say that's possible, that's when you start getting into the probabilities of, your third most probable, which means maybe Bitcoin won't capitulate anytime soon. Then those numbers start creeping up that time, but we'll cross that bridge when we get there because we're pretty far away from 38K right now. It really looks like we only need to concentrate on these top 2 most probable scenarios and when the probabilities start flipping so we can be comfortable with what we're doing, being comfortable with holding a lot of tether, being comfortable in our short positions that we're holding, being comfortable doing whatever. Right? So we can manage our expectations according to like math and just 3 horizontals. It's really going to help you out if you literally just draw these 3 lines and understand when probabilities flip and when they get deep in favorites to capitulating sooner than later. And here is the link to click this video right here if you want to see my video from yesterday, and click this video right here if you can see how and why I knew there was going to be a capitulation event around May to September of this year, and I knew this last year. Go ahead and click that video right here. You just got typified worldwide. Peace.